recording. Start streaming. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna upload them. So I can't upload them to the Twitch channel. I was just looking into that because I'm not a Twitch affiliate. Whoops. Let me close my Twitch tab. So okay, that's better. What was I say? Yeah, so I'm going to upload them onto Odyssey and possibly YouTube as well. So.
To ravage across the basin along the river and up into the mountain range. As well as one very important artifact missing and taken off in the same direction. Y'all reconvened, talked about you guys' next choices to work with, and you all decided to go and take the offer of the rulers of the town of Roskemeyer to do negotiations with the other warring nation. You guys negotiated with another third party and with a lot of very important information and kind of verbal shock and awe, convinced them that they should also help investigate the source of the eerie force that has been directing the war and wither. You guys reconvened together with a friend, had a wonderful meal, got some temporary hit points, and then walked up the freshly cleared off ancient stairwell leading up to a almost observation platform near the river between the mountains. There waiting, hoping for others from the two nations and not expecting a bunch of intrepid adventurers, were two of the generals of this terrible apocalypse. One of you knows one of which was a brother of one of his contacts. Once greedy and now corrupt with a hunger to continue. Another being familiar of another, being the old general of Flotenheim, once stabbed through the neck and dropped into the ocean at Left for Dead. Now
Not Left for Dead. He was dead.
pretty dead. Pretty dead. And still with a big hole in his neck. Now
Harsh.
kind of more gritted with these almost obsidian sharp teeth that kind of cake in this weird obsidian earth kind of scaling all across, kind of spreads out, and a deep red kind of warmth kind of pulses every now and then in between, and that hole kind of dribbles out this like hot glowing liquid that just kind of drips from it every now and then, um, kind of stains the top of his half plate of armor that he wears, um, kind of singes the bottom of his cape that folds around his feet. Um, a lot bigger. He was a Goliath, so he was already big. He's a little bigger now, kind of imposing in his presence, unarmed at the moment, but staring deeply at Ilix and this almost boiling hot rage that kind of radiates out from the maw on his neck and kind of continues across his body and glows underneath his armor.
Feeling bloated, friend. Ocean water does not agree with your constitution.
Literally gritting his teeth, goes, "You laugh now," and he starts to gurgle out this red, hot, gross liquid metal that just kind of drips out of his neck and in a stream, dirty with other rock materials, and it just rolls out of his neck and kind of almost stalactites in its spot. And he just kind of lets it drop a few times across, and a few of them start to form up in front of him. And then in the center, he goes and he grips the top of it, and it kind of crinkles and shatters in places. And he pulls out this weird, rocky obsidian axe as it breaks off from the ground. And he sets it down into the ground, also giving off this kind of like weird red glow in between the deep obsidian scales it holds.
All right, rule number 1. If this keeps going the direction it's going, do not get chopped by the vomit axe.
Aika looks over. She goes, "We're going to have to split them. My group can take one, and we'll try to hold them off. See if we can put one down, and then come together on whichever one's tougher."
I have a history with the big one.
He seems very friendly towards you. I mean, familiar, I think is the word I meant.
All right.
I'd kind of like to talk to little brother for a little bit.
The horns kind of drip this weird black. He kind of tilts his head a little bit. He goes, interesting choice of words. Is watch keeping fine these days?
Better than you could imagine, and I think that things are getting better without you around. Tell me, force behind this ugly face, how is it that you missed out and got the weak brother?
Am I the only one who doesn't know anybody here?
Oh, introductions. Loser, this is my friend Zendira, and Ilix. Ilix, Zendira, loser.
Charmed. You will be. Good to see you getting along with the others. I'm really upset that my brother's chosen someone so small, but he was always good at finding the ones that were weak and can hide in the crevices.
Oh, but that's. I see. Did you guys hear that? That was supposed to be an insult. It was supposed to upset me. I'm not upset. That didn't bother me at all. You could do better than
Um,
that. Take a better shot.
you you feel this like odd pull, like someone's grabbed like your shirt but deeper and almost jerked you forward. Um, and while you would still stand where you are on the ground, it almost like it tried to separate something from you, or tether something to you, and you give a nice little burp, of some stewed lemongrass, and it didn't
Excuse me.
quite take hold, and you avoided the charm. Um, you can even see the sickly purplish, red, kind of magenta, I suppose, dripping magic kind of pull back into him, and his face visibly get a little distraught and annoyed. It is now time to roll for initiative. Um, so which do you guys choose as a group to target
14.
for the combat?
Um,
You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
I think this one's gonna have to go to the Zendira for a tiebreaker.
Yeah,
Ooh.
physical roll for me after adding my initiative bonus is 17.
I got a solid 8.
Ooh.
I knew there was a reason I stopped using digital dice.
okay, so let me. There was an archer and someone else, or did the archer leave? I forget.
Yeah,
The
it's the
archer, yeah,
so you have a paladin archer. She is
No, I don't
with
mean with us. Somebody was shooting arrows down at the town before.
Oh yeah, no.
That person left, right?
Yep, it is just the two of them.
So
They are starting to get very imposing. Can literally feel the pressure off of them. It's a lot of aggression.
Okay. I think I'm going to be focusing on the Goliath.
All right.
Because I know something about the Goliath, and I was warned about him.
Aika kind of walks over to Grins and she goes, "You'll get your time and we'll let you know, eh?" And she goes and pushes off and she starts to sling a bunch of warning shots in the direction of Famine. And he pulls back from one that shoots across his face. And he kind of gets this weird grin. He goes, so it's you then. All right. He starts cracking his knuckles. And he goes and rushes forward and gets brunted by a gigantic tower shield from a large minotaur. And they start to square off. So we've got initiative 8 for Grins. We've got Sendira rolling a 14. And you said that we are hitting a 17 for Ilix?
17 total, yep.
All right. Let me find a good sheet of paper. That's a good sheet of paper. So we're looking at 8, 14, 17. We'll do this on the computer. We'll do a roll here. That's a 1. 1 plus a 1 is a 2. Jorhan got a 2.
I like it.
And General Ansvar of War.
It's weird. It says Ilix rolled it. Whatever.
Weird. Oh, because I'm on his thing.
Ah,
Um,
gotcha.
and that is
Oh.
a 6 plus 4.
You see, it doesn't matter who does it. If it's on my character page, it's a bad roll.
Hey. He's got, hey.
I'm gonna grab my player's handbook. I will be right back.
6 plus 4 gives it a 10. So he is going to go after Zendira. All right. All right. So for this combat, we will thematically get glimpses in on the combat between the other group and Famine, and that will be during Jorhan's turn at, I believe, in this case, the bottom of the round. So he'll take his round of combat. He'll attack one or the other, and then it'll be that and like a little thematical glimpse of the other group's combat and how that's going. For this round, this is a mini boss round. This will have where you guys have 2 legendary actions for your guys' round of combat.
As
So
a
per
group
round of
or as
combat.
individuals or
As a group.
Dang it. Wrong button. Wrong button.
all good.
Can you hear me?
All right. Yep.
Sorry about that.
Yep. So as a group, you guys have 2 legendary actions per round. All right, so you guys can talk amongst each other on when you guys would think is a good time to do it. Either before someone's round, after someone's round, just like a boss would have legendary actions. It's a little easier for these choices, because unlike having a fortress where you guys may be dealing with one person controlling legendary actions of catapults or like archers or whatnot, these are generally just random of what will happen. They will be intervenes from the other team. So when you choose when you want a legendary action to happen, the other team will come and intervene. Depending on the situation, it can be we can talk about what you would like the legendary action to be, and that can be discussed. But it'll generally, depending on how the other combat is going, as I explain them thematically, it possibly can just be random. If you guys don't end up using both of them by the end of the round, or by, I guess in this case, Jorhan's round. So by Jorhan's round, if we haven't used one, I'll either use it before or after his round, and just kind of finish it so that both legendary actions are used for you guys. And then those will probably be the ones that are more random than not. All will be helpful. It'll basically be one of them doing a little cameo, smacking War in the face for something, or boosting one of you guys with something, or causing, in a lot of cases, disadvantage, like with the tower shield. So all helpful. That's something for you guys to think about. I added a lot of the things that you guys have gotten that would be generally useful, unless you guys want to throw a large sheet of leather or smack them with a plastic tube. then I apologize. I have not got those on D&D Beyond yet. For improvised weapons, my apology. Um, Also, grins. If you take a look, there is a spell that I have added that is available for you if you want to check that out. So I
Yeah.
made sure I got the the weapon that Ilix has been collecting. I got the wild shapes that Zendira has been collecting in his travels. And I've gotten a nice little spell that kind of picked up while ruin diving with these two guys the last time. That thrumming beat.
Where did you drop the spell? I'm looking in
It's
the
not.
spoilers
It
back
should
alley.
be in your availables. It should be in your availables. I haven't given it to you yet.
Okay.
Because you had all your spells full, so it's available for bards,
Okay.
and a
Gotcha.
warlock variety. But it doesn't matter. It's the same as like Dissonant Whispers, because I modeled it slightly like the spell, and then completely changed it, because
All right.
Zendira, the scarecrow cactus, you can basically ignite and fling crazy, globs of burning jelly, and just let that run your HP for the wild shape, and then it'll drop, because it's just a wild shape. So that can be used in that kind of fashion as just kind of like oh, yeah, you thought you were clever, and then just kind of pelt someone with a lot of napalm. And then, the other one's more of like a kind of aggressive tank.
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty tanky.
So it's an aggressive little tank, modeled off of other creatures that had a 1 on its level. Because of your
Yep.
druidic circle, you can go up to 1 already. And you don't have to wait
Yeah.
until your druid level, what, 8? 12? Like, that's no fun for other druids. It's a
Right?
shame.
Yeah, for real. There's some pretty sweet spells I've got in here now, though. So that's cool.
Right. And then, so if you guys have any ideas in like, if you guys would like a type of spell or feat,
So real quick, I just added Wind Wall as one of my known spells that's prepared. I don't
Oh,
think I was
boy.
able to access that before until you made me just level 5 now. So I don't know if I can use that for this or not, but thought I'd
Yeah.
ask. Okay, cool.
yeah, because druids have prepared spells, so you have a pool of spells you can use, and you gained access to another one. So
Cool. Yeah, I just added it now, which is why I was asking.
yeah, so
Also worth remembering, Andy, you can cast a spell and maintain concentration on it in wild
Yes.
shape.
Yeah, actually, the one I probably should have grabbed was Flaming Arrows for our friend.
oh no.
Oh well.
It happens. She's a paladin. She's probably also going to have flaming arrows.
Oh, fair enough.
Just in a kind of, angry kind of smitey way. So
Okay.
all right. So we will start the combat round with Ilix. There are 2 stalactites that kind of fill in the 5-foot spots to his corners. and he's pulled out the one in the center in front of him. And he kind of stands there, kind of dragging his axe from the ground up into his hands. What do you do?
Okay. Does anyone have any way to blind him as I start moving in closer? How far away is he from me currently?
Try throwing dust in his eyes.
So right now, the entire sphere is in a 200-foot diameter. And he's standing a good 80 feet from the back. So when you guys started walking up and filling in the space in the front, the other group rushed off to the left and started to pull the attention of Famine. And then War kind of stepped up a little bit to about 100 feet from the back wall. So he's right up out of the center. And you guys came in about 30, all filled in that first 30 feet.
Okay.
And then, so you are sitting, are you in,
About
were
70
you,
feet
you're
away.
rushing forward? Yeah, you're about 70 feet away if you're in front of most of the others.
Okay. So, these javelins, I've got them just down as +1 javelins, but they were the special ones that we talked about that had the
Yep.
light.
And the rock lob needles are in D&D Beyond now. So
Oh, they are? Okay, I'll have to change that out. But so that should increase their short range to 90, correct?
let's see.
Javelin's regularly 30, but it goes doubles the short or triples the short and doubles the long, right?
That's with the atlatl. So
With
yes.
the okay.
So that's the atlatl does that. And I believe they go to the homebrew collection. We'll head to the item. Right now they are set to have a 60-foot range and a 200-foot long range.
Okay.
So with
So
the
I'm not
atlatl,
gonna-
you could toss them about 180 feet out without disadvantage.
Nice.
But with that kind of throw, you could impose the risk of having them splinter, which will cause a bit more damage, but does end up ruining, and depending on how hard it hits, like if it hits the ground because it missed, or if it hit like metal armor.
Okay.
So general misses then at that distance can cause them to shatter.
Okay. All right. Well, if my short range is 60 without the atlatl, then I'm only 70 feet away. I will start moving towards him and have how many?
He's looking at you. His eye is intent.
How many of these do I have? Javelin. Okay, I've got 3 of them. Okay. So, because of my thrown weapon fighting style, I'm allowed to draw and throw, so as a freebie. So it's just going to be all 3 javelins as I'm moving closer. 1, 2, 3. So,
All right.
no digital dice.
No digital dice.
Almost messed myself up there. Okay, 8 plus 6. That's going to be 14 to hit on the first.
That misses.
Natural 18 plus 6, so that's going to be 24 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
And then 13 plus 6, so 19.
That hits.
Okay. So javelins are 6. 2d6 damage. Come on. 2d6 plus 1. And one of those was my offhand, so I don't get to add the plus 3 modifier. 6 and a 1. Plus 3. Oh, on the one that was 14, they are plus 1. I forgot to add that. So it would have
for
been a 15 total. Still
That
doesn't
still
hit?
misses. Yeah.
Okay. So 6, 7, 10. They're both plus 1, so 12 damage between the two.
Ooh, 12 damage. And you did the +1 for the damage?
Yes. Well, for
And that's
each of them.
and both of them are within 60 feet. So the other one, he goes to swing and block one, and it kind of hits and dings really deep into his armor that he has on front of his chest, and bounces off, and he's like, "Ah!" and takes that first thing, and he kind of sees the second one coming, and he swats it away, and the third one comes careening in towards his face, and he kind of leans back, and it hits one of the kind of stalactites that are he's spewed out of his neck, kind of breaks the tip of it and careens back and hits him and kind of cuts across his neck, and he's like, "Ah!" And it kind of snaps a few times. It looks like that kind of irritated him. He left a little scratch. So not bad,
And that,
not bad.
all right. And I specifically want to say I only moved forward about 20 feet. I want him to not be able to reach me on his turn. I want to kind of control it so that if he moves to me, he's gotta use a dash or something to get to me, so that either he can't attack when he gets to me, or he's close enough that I can get to him next time around.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So next, Zendira.
Well, actually, it's Katya, because she
Oh.
goes out. She shares my initiative, but goes after me.
Bam! So up into the
Smackdown.
side of the mountain on the right. Only about has been slowly closing in on the right, as the evil guys have done their little weird monologuing standoff, is about 70 feet. So kind of got about the same distance as you were, but from the right.
Okay.
How does she go?
So Ilix is going to start communicating her kind of similarly to a rancher and a sheepdog, and just start whistling, and have her move up, kind of fanned out to my right, about 20 feet off to my right, no closer than 40 feet to him.
Okay. So she comes and starts to pull a perimeter around.
And she's gonna hold an attack action for if he comes within reach of her.
All right. No problem.
One more thing. I probably should have said this on my turn. Is it too late to do anything for what I did with my attacks?
You tossed 3 javelins.
Right.
So like a bonus action?
No, I wanted to mark him as my favorite foe, which increases the damage once per turn by a D4.
Is that an action? Is that an action?
It's specifically labeled no action. It's just whenever I hit, up to my proficiency bonus. Well, thank you.
I figured since you control Katya too, you can do that. If it's no action,
Yeah,
those
it's
two.
actually would have happened on my turn, but
Yeah, so
okay.
bam, right at the end. You're like, this guy, I want this guy. I want him dead. I want this guy put in the ground
Do I get to add a D4 to it or not?
to the attacks.
Yeah, according to the feature, I get to add a D4 once per round, including when I mark it.
Yeah.
All right. Plus 2 damage.
Ouch. Yeah, so he just did a little more than he thought. He kind of gets up, he like looks you deep and he goes, "Ah!" And gurgles out of his weird magma maw neck wound thing. Yeah.
And for the record, it's concentration, so he can break my concentration on this. So
Ooh, fun. Well, I'll see how it plays out. All right
all right,
then.
that ends Katya and I.
Yep. You can see there's a few spots where there were along her back and her cheeks where there were the opaloid. You called her out for acid. So in response, in her place of those, starts to grow these like jagged crystal-like obsidian dark crystal growths from those spots. She starts to jag it out, and they start to ooze this like weird, like orange pink kind of like acid, as it kind of gurgles out in some of the open spots around those gems. Zendira, it's your turn.
All right. So I'm going to like plant one foot behind the other, say, "Don't worry, Dragonborn, I'll hold him." So I reach back, close my eyes and focus, and then lift all my hands up together as I cast Entangle.
Ooh.
So, got a range of 90 feet here, and I guess it's just cast, so he has to save on a strength saving throw or be, let's see here.
Check your
Strength
DC.
check. Cast it.
Save is
Grasping Weeds.
14.
20-foot square area, I'll say centered on him.
And that's a dexterity, you said?
It is a strength saving throw.
Ooh, strength.
He'll probably get out of.
I'm really glad it didn't get right up to him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh. So that's +5. No, he does
Not too
not
surprised.
save that one. He kind of looks down and he lifts his feet up and it kind of reaches up and grabs one and goes
I'm
and basically pulls it right
to,
back down.
Pull him back down for all I can. Almost like it's almost like the weeds are coming out and grabbing him, but can't pull him down. But then like as I'm
it's like slowly,
miming the motion and pulling him down, I'm almost like lifting myself off the ground from nothing.
He kind of looks over, and he goes, "Ugh. Your friends are all so annoying." Fine. We'll try the forges of war. So any other actions we've got going on?
Not at this point, I don't think. No. I can probably use my wild shape as a bonus action, but I'm not gonna.
I think with your circle you can.
I'm not going to
no,
yet.
I think
I'm
that's.
not going to yet.
Or was that 5? Or was that 6? That might be 6 level.
I'll have to check that. Yeah. I'm not going to yet though, so it doesn't matter.
Liam.
That's
No
it for me.
problem. No, it's not under bonus actions yet. All right.
It's not. It's not.
Or unfortunately, it is not under bonus action yet.
Check
so
physical copy.
What's going on? So as we check to see if we can wild shape,
I'm not going to. You can go ahead.
Ansvar kind of upset every time he kind of like his axe is a little heavier than um a regular size hand axe would be made of rock. So every time he kind of rests it a little bit, the vines start to kind of just grip a little bit around. He has to like reach out and kind of cuts a little bit down. He goes and he grabs another one that didn't kind of chip away from the previous needle that came at him, and he breaks it through, and it's this long uh, kind of pole arm with a large black crystal that kind of points out, and then a kind of the same kind of like gritty obsidian axe that reaches out in the front with this long black pole. Um, he grips at the end and then kind of reaches out and grabs the center, and he goes, "Why? Fine, you're going to hold me here too. Can play at this game." And he chucks it.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. You ended up being how far away? 50 feet?
I was standing in the same place. I didn't move. I've got a range of
Yeah,
90
you didn't
feet on
move.
Entangle, so yeah.
Ilix, you moved up to 50?
Ilix is muted.
Yes, 50 feet.
All right. So then that is just out of his range. So he will roll with disadvantage. And that is a... Oh, here, we'll do it here. That's fine. Bop. Oh, well, it's just a 9. So 9 plus 5. So does a 14 hit Ilix?
Does not. As it
Does
comes
not.
by, Elvis brings his buckler shield up and just deflects it across to the back.
Oh yeah, it careens at this weird downward angle. Almost like as it started coming down, it went and almost went for a chop in your direction, and then kind of as you bounced it off, it almost flinted, kind of sprayed flames out, and gritted rock, and then it digs deep, wham, about 5 feet behind you, and as it hit, you kind of hear this, as it kind of sparks across the ground, behind you, and then, so Ilix, roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Saving throw?
Yes.
22.
Oh yeah. So you get down and it flies upward like some crazy burning grenade. And you take, we'll do that here. No problem. Bow damage of piercing damage as the pieces of obsidian that the entire thing was made out of shards out in all kinds of directions behind you.
You said how much?
And foe damage
4?
as you dunk down, and just a few of them start to splackle the back of your neck and head.
2 damage because my sewed buckler gives me resistance to piercing damage.
Well, perhaps so. So yeah, so the buckler off to the side of it, it kind of flies off your buckler, and kind of smacks the side of your head near the horns, and like and it hits you for 2 damage, gives you a few little paper cuts. And the weapon is obliterated. You can see the little nick into the ground it left as it dug itself in. And he goes, you don't, I'm not done yet. And he goes and he swings the axe and it crushes the other stalactite he had next to him. He just crushes through and swings out at you again, with disadvantage.
Was throwing the axe.
Yeah, it just starts as he swings out. 6 plus 5 is not enough. So the axe comes swinging at you. How does it miss?
Just
You just saw the last one come and explode behind you.
Just-
Um, he's like, but yeah, it
I
comes
have
and
to
hits.
show you how to throw things. Honestly, this is just sad, my friend.
Yeah, it comes swinging and it hooks almost around the buckler. And you go and you like toss it off. And it goes and it hits the ground, just bing, bing, bing. Sparks a bit, but lands a good 15 feet behind you, and then just kind of melts away. Um, he goes and he starts walking forward. He failed, so he can't pull away from the grasping vines. Does that have a save at the end of his turn every round?
Ooh, let's see here. Grasping weeds and vines spread from the ground. For the duration, these plants turn the ground in the area
It
into
has to
difficult
use its full
terrain.
action. So since it attacked me, he can't.
Exactly. All right. So he attacked. He realized that he goes to pull his feet out, and he goes, "Ugh, that's annoying."
I'm like
Fine.
back planted on the ground and kind of eyeing him.
And he kind of looks around at you guys. He goes, fine. And as a bonus action, he kind of sits there and goes, and he starts to bubble another stalactite right out in front of him. Um, and then he kind of reaches out and cracks through, and it leaves this like weird, crooked, jagged, crystalline black sword. Um, it's a little short, so it's like a little short sword.
You have
He's like,
conditions, man.
he's like, he says, he's like, fine. Is this all you got? And now it is Grin's turn.
All right. Grins is going to go ahead and move forward. Let's see, we said we were how far? 70 feet?
Oh yeah, about. He kind of stepped forward,
About
and then
70
you guys kind of planted him in the center of the map.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and. Grins walks forward. He goes about, right up behind Ilix, and you feel like a hand about, it would be on your shoulder if he was tall enough to reach it, but instead it's like, maybe on, right above your
cheek.
tail or something. And he's like, and I'm going to, as a bonus action, I'll give him a bardic inspiration.
Ooh.
And I say, you got this, man. And then Grins is going to slowly, kind of bend over a little bit and start whispering very, very quickly. And there's like a darkness that kind of hovers over his eyes, and we will cast a second level Dissonant Whispers.
No. Oh no. All right, let's
Oh, no.
take a good look.
Oh, no.
But he must make a wisdom saving throw, and yours is at a DC of 14. And it is. A natural 20.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, friend. It kind of starts to gather around his head, and you can almost everybody can almost hear the like cacophony of whispers start to like really get loud and rattle, and it even makes you guys like, oh, that's obnoxious. And then he just takes his gauntleted hand, that doesn't have the sword in it, and he just swings at his head hard. And you see it kind of just spray this like weird molten, spray as he hits his head hard. And all the darkness kind of dissipates around from his eyes and ears. And he goes, so annoying.
Smacks his
I
head
turn
hard.
around and I look at Grins. You use two voices in head.
I just wanted to see if there was room for one more or not.
So let's see.
Miss Goliath's
So-
wisdom consists of smacking himself hard in the head.
Yeah, and he takes roll the 3d6.
Roll the 3d6.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was supposed to roll 4d6 because I cast the second level.
Oh yes, 4d6. That's right.
I'll just click the 4d6 and let the whole thing start over.
Yeah, we'll just see.
It's 15,
Yeah, so that's 15. So he takes half rounded up.
but we'll go ahead and add an extra. I'll spend a bardic inspiration to add an extra 3d6 psychic damage to the attack.
So roll the 3d6.
And d6.
So it'll be separate. Ooh, I gotta scroll down.
So that's for 8 more.
All right. So he takes 16 psychic damage, where he takes half of the actual dissonant whisper, and so he smacks his head hard, takes 8 good psychic damage as he shakes away the dissonant whispers.
As the whispers start to dissipate, like the final whisper is, "I'll be back soon."
And it just kind of like almost like you can literally see an entire wave of just full depression just kind of wash across. Just, and then he shakes his head, and you can see more of the kind of reddish lava-y liquid spray out from the inside of his ears. And he goes, as he dribbles a few more spikes along the ground. He kicks them over, and a few daggers start to splay about. Is that the end of your turn?
That is 1 action and 1 bonus action. So
So are we moving? We're at 70 feet. He's gonna be tossing things at me.
Hey, I've got a question.
I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of distance between myself and Ilix. So Ilix was about what you were.
Like 20, 15 feet. He walked forward a little bit, so he's now about 30 feet away from you in front.
So I'm gonna kind of walk to the side just to spread it out. So after seeing that grenade, I'm trying to make it so it's a little harder to take us all out at once. So I'll just move my full distance to the, Ilix left. I
Yeah.
have left there.
All right. So at this point, do any of you guys feel like using a legendary action?
Fire arrow over there!
Yeah. So
Not yet.
I don't get the idea of trying to going to do a whole lot. This guy.
Not yet.
Seriously, put a fire arrow over there.
over there.
I have a question
So-
real quick before
Yeah.
going to the next round. So I had mentioned Wind Wall as a prepared spell. I had forgotten about Conjure Animals, which I talked about at the end of the last session. Can I set that up? I haven't used Wind Wall or anything.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry
you
about that.
haven't. Yeah.
I just remembered that now. I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. That's the one I wanted. Appreciate it.
Summon woodland creatures.
Well, it was like I can summon a pack of wolves and send them on my target and then become a wolf.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Dude, pack tactics.
But no, seriously, somebody put a fire arrow on this guy.
You want a legendary action?
Yeah, so
I mean,
fire.
we get 2 every round.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that probably makes sense then.
I want somebody to start a fire within 10 feet of him.
Oh, I think I see where you're going with that.
Okay. So, right before Jorhan's turn, right after Grins, he kind of says that out loud. And the other group hears it, and he goes, "It's not quite my forte, okay, but let me give it a try. All right, hey, I need an arrow." And while she slings one at Famine, and it kind of starts to burn, and sling off of his shoulder, and he hisses. um it kind of steams, but it doesn't really affect him much. She goes, "Well, it's not hurting him much." And she goes and she slings it outward. He goes, "Pole, all right," push, and he goes and he tries to ignite it. Oh, I threw it off the bowl. 18, yeah, and it goes, and it kind of slows a little bit as the fire kind of catches the wind and lifts it a little bit more, and it flies out. I mean, kind of lands off just outside of the. Oh, how big is the grasping vines? Or entangle? Is it entangle or grasping vines?
Entangle.
20-foot radius, right?
I think that's something like that. Yeah, it is a
It's 20
foot
foot
square.
20 foot square.
Yeah, 20-foot square.
Is he right in the middle of the 20-foot
I
square?
centered it on him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then, yeah, it kind of hits the just inside of the 20 feet, kind of catching a bit of the vines on fire in a small little spot. They're fresh, so not a lot. So just kind of smolders, but just enough to keep it smoldering there a little bit. Interesting group of things. Jorhan, on his turn, he goes, "Oh," and he kind of looks over at the other general, and then he looks back at War. He goes, and he looks over at the other guy. He goes, and he looks over at War. He's like, and he slams his ladle onto his other midi hand. And he goes, "We're fighting the big dude, fighting the molten lava big dude. All right." And he is going to. What does he have that will be helpful?
Like holding him down, like, "Hey, Jorhan, you got any recipes for corrupted lava?"
He goes, let's see. He's got a lot of hot stuff. No, he's not going to do any of that. What he is going to do, though, he is going to try to go up and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll keep him busy," and he just starts until he sounds heavier than you think he would have sounded. Definitely has got a lot underneath his apron. He starts running out there, and it didn't at first even catch Ansvar's attention until he gets about 10 feet from him, and Ansvar looks down and he goes, "What do you want?" He goes, "Why am I just," and he gets up and he goes for a nice little smack in the face. The tip of the ladle starting to, or the spoon of the ladle starting to heat up with a nice searing, fiery smite. and smacks him good one. Or does he? 14 plus 7. Hot titties. 21. All right. And then that does 2 plus 5, 7 plus nothing. So the ladle comes swinging out and smacks, and you can hear it crack a lot of the side plates on the side of him, on the side of his arm near his elbow. And it flashes and burns, and it kind of spews back the heat from the searing smite, not seeming to do a lot of damage. Right, because that's fire damage. Yep, that's fire damage. Yep. So the searing smite does not seem to do any real damage to him. He goes, okay, okay. And then he kind of tries to put his big walk shield in front of him. The other group has the Minotaur has basically been taking the swings of this tiefling as he is basically trying to bash through at this point, while gleefully laughing with a weird, sinister, disgusted, twisted kind of glee, and just breaking his knuckles across this tower shield. The kid on top is literally tossing icicles onto this guy's head at this point. And it's basically like, why won't you stop? Go! Ayaka is setting up, has gone almost around. You can literally see her kind of crouched and running in a weird circumference around Famine towards the back, and is now kind of between both of them, a good 50 feet away, in like this angle, and is sticking this long kind of like shining pole and has dug it into the ground. And then she gives the other two kind of a thumbs up, and the Minotaur swings out and kind of pushes him away with the shield, and he kind of flips backward a good 20 feet. And that's where that sits. At the top of the round, we will go Ilix.
All right. Andy, does your spell affect anybody entering, or just those who were there when it was cast?
Good question. Turn the ground into difficult terrain for 1 minute, up to 1 minute.
Okay. Creature in the area when you cast the spell. Okay. So going in won't entangle me, correct?
I don't believe so, no, but it still counts as difficult ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm about 50 feet away. Both my javelins are used, or all three of my javelins are used.
Can I just, like, if he asks me to, can I just drop the spell? Or
Requires concentration, so I imagine you can.
Don't necessarily want you to. I just
Okay.
wanted to make sure I wasn't going to get trapped if I ran in.
Yeah, and also
So-
I believe if you do another spell, that also
Ends the concentration, yeah.
ends concentration of it.
So it's a 20-foot square. There's been an arrow tossed in about 10 feet from him, so it's kind of at the edge of the
Well, if it's
bramble.
10 feet from him, then it should be right at the edge of the yeah, because he's right in the center.
Yeah,
and
so it's kind of
20
just
feet
running.
across.
Yep.
And I'm 50 feet away. I have a movement speed of 30 feet. Okay.
Yeah, Jorhan also hit that, and he was like, "Oh!" I pretty much slowed him down a little bit.
All right. I'm gonna go my full speed, 30 feet. Which is going to put me within 20 feet of him, which means I am within range for all three of my daggers, which are going to go straight for him.
Just unleashing all of the ordnance tonight, Sam.
I know. I like to think Ilix has got like a leather holster at the back with all the daggers like across the small. The back's just.
See, people
I'm
think
just waiting
that
for the-
adventurers would need more weapons or different weapons, and sometimes they need utility stuff like, what would it be like if I could have some awesome quiver that holds all kinds of things and looks cool? You know?
I just am waiting for the playing cards to start getting thrown.
First attack is just 10, so that's going to be sure. 16
16 does not hit.
on it. Okay.
Should use them digital die, man.
Okay. Those are all missed.
Oh no. So one of them kind of hits and he's like, ah.
They distracted him on the way in, though.
I'm sure that
So I'm
You can
the-
use you have a D8 you can add to a test with your bardic inspiration. I don't know if you want to use it on a dagger though.
Yeah, probably not for the day.
All right.
Appreciate the reminder, though.
So you move up pretty close. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he's like, eh. Because he's still stuck.
Oh, I don't think it's just an entity for it. Yeah, no. Okay. So that didn't do much good. But I'm there. And that makes Katya's turn.
Mm-hmm.
He also has 30 feet of movement, right?
Yep.
She was basically equidistant, but kind of in a cone from me. So, oh no, she's 40 feet. Wow, I didn't realize she was that fast. It's still not going to be enough to get up to him, though.
He's like,
so she's going to, basically, we're both beelining and converging. And again, she's holding her action where he comes within range.
oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, she goes and starts running up, and she just comes to the edge of where the vines and stuff are. All right. So next is Zendira.
All right. I'm a little exhausted from the weeds, which I kind of let go and drop. I start walking forward. Let's say I'll probably walk about probably about 20 feet forward, so I should be about 30 feet away from him now.
Yep.
And let's see here. So about 20 feet in, I'm gonna kind of stop, and if I can do this, I'm going to like almost like half morph into an animal as I like almost go werewolf halfway and like let out a howl, like a hunting howl, and then I'm going to conjure animals, if I can. And so I know we talked about this a bit last week. It doesn't actually explicitly say I get to choose the animals, but I'm hoping that you'll let me summon 8 wolves
Butterflies.
Butterflies.
Paladin rating 1/4 or lower. Yep.
8
That's
of
right.
quarter or lower, which could be 8 wolves.
Eight wolves. Man's like, I want to summon an entire
I want
wolf
my
pack.
pack of wolves.
Healers, potion makers, attackers, come my wolf pack. Ow, ow, ow. Okay. So
You guys keep going. I'll be right back.
so 8 wolves. Okay, yeah. So yeah. So we'll oh geez. So
As they
it gets
etherically appear around me,
yeah, it's like it gets this odd, deep, verdant kind of shadow that kind of sprays out from around you because it's 8 creatures that need to take up a 5-foot space of their own.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Um, Apparently, Zendira is playing a green mana ramp deck and is just spraying creatures on the field. So, so this kind of deep, verdant, almost like moss, of like a shadow, kind of waves out from Zendira. Kind of, it kind of gets tangible, and then kind of forms out like they were popping their heads out of a little dive in a pond, and they just pull up, and it almost in like this moss and hair kind of not sure which is which it is, and these weird verdant green wolves, about 8 of them. Yeah. And they all just kind of start pacing around so that there's 8 wolves, but they're all just kind of it's like a swarm of wolves, and they take up 20 feet of space, a square space. They just kind of wolf swarm.
Can you guys
Swarm
hear
of
me or not?
wolves.
We can hear you now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Zendira summons a swarm of wolves.
I call on the ancient strength of the wolf. I guess they have to roll initiative, which I guess is just a d20 for them. Probably. No. Let's see.
They both got 10. So I split them into 2 groups of 4.
Okay.
And they both got 10.
Gotcha. Can I give
So
them
they'll
orders at this
go-
point?
Yeah, so they'll go right before Ansvar.
Oh, we lost
since
one.
he is. Oh, we lost him.
Give him a second to come back. Maybe he couldn't hear us. Hey, we can hear and see you, Sam.
Okay. Yeah, my Discord was cut off completely for a moment.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. Kind of
Right.
from the side of your vision, you see Ekern kind of like pulls out. He goes, "Oh, you are able to do that now? Oh, she really likes you." And he goes, "Look," and he kind of like he's blowing away like smoke in the area, and kind of like it almost looks like the shape is like a bush. And you can kind of see inside, and there's like that same kind of like ancient runic stone inside skeleton, and like that one orb, that one crystal orb that kind of sits in front, right where the eyes and snout kind of are, and it fills it in a kind of red glow behind the eyes that you see. But
Nice.
at a glance, yeah, it all looks very solid.
As I summoned them, it's like I kind of went down and took a knee as I was doing it, and as they appear around me, it's like I reach out. I look up at Ekern as he's talking, and I reach out almost like I'm petting it on its back, which is kind of got to reach up because they're big and I'm small. And I
It's
look
moist,
at Ekern.
and like you pet the ground on you pet a mossy rock.
I lean into its ear and I just whisper where only the wolves can hear. I whisper, "Rip and tear," and then lean away.
Oh yeah, it's almost all of them in like not quite uniform, just like in this. As you see, all of their eyes just kind of get a lot deeper in this red and almost like an orange, um, as they all just
I would
they
like
were
to
just
say
kind of
that
like
my eyes.
sitting.
I would like to say my eyes reflect their eyes.
Yeah, so they're all just kind of like like a pack of sleigh dogs, as like some of them are kind of like just laying there, and another one's like standing up, pacing around. A few of them are kind of like sitting down and kind of just like snipping at each other. And then you said rip and tear, and they all go, and all their eyes go wah, as like the orb behind their skull just kind of raises a little bit, and they all have 35 feet of movement for these version of your verdant mother's wolves. So they both get directed around the same time. You can, since they all got 10, you can do one group and then maybe have him do and then another group, or you could have both
Okay.
of them go before him, or
Oh,
it's up
so
to you.
okay. I'll have both of them go before him then.
And then are you going to you can always choose at the end of your turn to give them orders, or you can have them free. So if you give rip and tear, I can use that as a general order,
I was meant to
as
be a
like an
general
attack.
order to attack him, attack the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So the group that goes out, and let's see, these did let's find wolves
I got it up. What are you
real
looking for?
quick.
I've got a movement 40 feet.
But let's see if so they got 40 feet in that one.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do the 40 feet, and then they what have a bite and claw.
Bite. Melee attack +4 to hit, reach 5 feet, one target, hit 7 for 2d4 +2 piercing damage.
So we'll keep 7. We'll make it easy. All right. And you said +5. No problem. So we'll do. And they're about 50 feet away now with you, or you moved upwards?
I moved forward like 20 feet.
Okay, so we're. And they'll fill in the space. So yeah, they'll have him within range, and they will go out to attack him. So the whole group of 8 just kind of rushes out, literally between a few of you guys. They just kind of, Ilix is like, oh, as they kind of push their way through everything, in like this weird, like metallic but still kind of natural barks and growls.
I missed something. Okay, go ahead. As a bonus action, I can take a wild shape. I did check that it is in is Circle of the Moon, but I missed my turn.
Oh,
So,
right. Yeah. So then, yeah, good to know. We'll keep that in mind. So then they all come rushing out and, yeah, they'll come rushing through. And they get really close, and he goes, ugh, and they all dogpile him. And they're nipping at him. Some are making purchase, others are not. Let's do 2 more of those. Ooh, those are some hits. There's some hits and misses. All right. So, and then you said it was, we'll do 7. So we rolled. I need 2 more. Bam. So we've got 6 of 8. And that is times 7. So we've got wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. 42 damage of
Nice.
ruffian dog bites. As it starts to kind of pile on and tear, It's odd. At first, it seems like because now they are within 15 feet of Ansvar. It's weird. It You watch as they all dogpile on top of him, and he kind of it knocks him off of his feet. Um, and they're all digging at a group of wild wolves digging at a bunch of dog bowls sitting in the middle, and they're just tearing. And you see flying of orange molten blood as it sprays out from the area, um, and then it's bits of mossy fur
You melt my doggos?
and pieces as a few of them would like look over and start to nip at the others, um almost as if the chaos kind of rolls out, um and they're almost now the ones that aren't seeming to have this odd crazy look about them are defending themselves from being yipped and nipped, and getting torn apart from each other, and they're tearing at the other ones, um and you see Envar kind of push one off of him that's trying to keep from getting bit on the arm, and is like snapping at the top of its head of the other one that's biting his forearm, and is throwing him off, and he kind of flips him off of him. He sits there and he stands up. He goes, "You see, try and resist the forge of war." And he starts to step a little forward. He takes 28 damage as he survives some, and the others start to succumb to his aura of war, um, which starts to enrage them, and causes them to start attacking randomly, about. And then you have a few of them that start to retreat a little bit. We have about 3 of them that survive, none of which that got, which is about 3 that got enraged, uh, started to tear apart at each other. Now 3 survive in the area, and they kind of walk out of his range. And then he uses his turn.
So only 3 left total, including.
Yeah.
Does he have any on his side now, or?
No.
Okay.
No. They tore at each other, kind of annihilated each other. One of which survived, 2 of which kind of stayed a bit out of it, helped the other one not get its throat ripped out. A bunch of like moss and ancient stones and the orbs rolled out, splayed across the field.
So he's got like an aura that just incites blind rage in anybody that gets close. Is that what we're getting here?
It's called the aura of war. He constantly, when you get within 15 feet of him, you can hear the beats of the drums of war, and it kind of it makes you angry on the inside, and you lash out. It can blind you to rage.
Okay.
It counts
Still
as a
worth it.
charm.
That's a chunk.
Mm.
Good to know.
Counts as a charm. While you guys may be immune to those, the puppers were not. Unfortunately, puppers were not immune to charm and got enraged, a few of them. But the good little experiment, best them instead of you, or not. I guess, because you guys are immune to charmed. So, yeah. He takes his turn to he basically splays out more just magma into the ground, and he kicks a few, and a bunch of more daggers kind of just shatter out and about, and there's at least um 6 of them laid across the ground. uh and he breaks a weird jagged spear off of one, and he goes, so let's see who's got the better hand. And he goes and he chucks the spear at Zendira.
Uh-oh.
And you are 50 feet right now, so that is with disadvantage.
I'm probably about 30 feet because I moved up 20.
That is regular throw, so we'll just do one again.
I thought you stayed at 70 feet for the last round, and then you moved up 20 now.
Oh, but I thought he had moved closer as well.
No, he was trapped and entangled.
Okay.
There was this druid, and he was holding him in place.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought I was 50 feet away and moved up 20. I guess I was 70 and moved up 20.
Ooh, so okay, so yes, disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 1. So he throws that spear.
I catch it.
You catch.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
So it's interesting.
Ah!
Roll. Okay. Roll an acrobatics check.
Oh, that's not good. What do we get? What do we get? Oh, it's a 20. 19 plus 1.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you catch it. And it was the druid and not anybody else, as the druid does not carry any metal armor or weapons. So his gloves are non-metallic, and he grabs a hold of it without a spark but you can feel the heat as it kind of sits as a weird in this weird hot, like straight off the oven kind of pan. Do you hold on to it?
No, I think I'm going to take it and just like chuck it into the ground next to me. Oh, wait, I don't know what this spear does. Does it do bad things in the ground?
So
That's quite a reaction.
See the one that he threw at Ilix?
So
I don't
you're
remember
like,
what it
yeah.
did.
You're like, yeah, I caught it. And you chuck it into the ground, and it gives this nice little as it hits the stone
I don't remember what
ground
it did to you,
and
Sam.
sparks out, and
I had a bunch of stuff.
it kind of
that
explodes.
rolled really well.
So
Oh, it's the
Zendira-
shattering one. Okay, that thing.
So
Gotcha.
Zendira, roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
Oh,
As you
come
chuck the
on.
spear in the ground and it blows up
It's a
next
12.
to you.
That's not good.
Oh, that's
It's
the
not terrible,
save.
but
So that's the save. So it does. This is not bad. Oh, let's see. I mean,
It's just like,
Like-
ooh.
so I'm doing this from Elix's, right? So I'm just doing regular rolls, custom rolls. Custom roll.
I didn't know what it did.
Memorable.
No, I mean, I think that I was probably I think I was reading my spells when your turn was going.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there they are. Okay.
A lot of rolls happening here.
No. I'm just checking what we got. Oh, okay. So it was 46. All right, I'll do that for you guys. We'll do that on Zendira's because he chucked it, so he's gonna roll
Oh,
it.
well. Womp, womp. We lost
Probably
him.
be back in a moment.
So we got a 12, but you made the save. So Zendira takes 6 piercing damage as the obsidian chunks of the spear hits a spark and goes bursting out in your direction.
That's not so bad.
It just kind of strikes across your shoulder and the side of your face. And this odd,
I
terrible
figured
shrapnel.
it was probably just going to damage me if I held on to it. So, yeah.
Yes, it would also do that. Yes, it does have the property of the heat metal spell.
I was like, I'll just put it down and make it look cool, I guess. Oh, then it exploded.
If it was the ground, probably not. But it is a stone. There's a stone ground. And it does kind of act like flint.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I was thinking I was just basically sticking it into the ground, into the dirt. Oh well.
Okay.
Good to know.
All right. So.
I still had 12 temporary hit points. Just saying.
Yeah. So Zendira took the spear to the face, kind of, and that was his turn. So it is Grin's turn.
Can I shout out to Grins real quick as he starts his turn?
Yeah.
In Goblin, because I do speak Goblin.
Ooh.
Anything you have to blind him, don't worry about me. Do it now.
All right. Well, I go ahead and, somewhat surprised, answer in Goblin. Speak Goblin?
Do it!
All right, so the little smoldering fire. Who is actually in range of that?
Let's see. There's a wolf that's sitting next to it within 5 feet. He has been teetering back and forth in this kind of 3x3 area, and he has kind of stepped a little near it. So he's within 5 feet, you could say. And Jorhan is about 10 feet on the other side of it.
Okay, so I'd be risking blinding 2 allies at least and a wolf.
I am also within 10 feet of it because I moved to within 20 feet of.
Yeah, so in
but like I said, don't worry about me. But like I said, don't worry about me.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and Grins takes a couple steps forward. We'll say we move 10 feet towards, and as Grins finishes his move, he does a little twirl and bows. And as he does, the arrow explodes in a flash of white light, and we'll cast pyrotechnics.
Oh no. Oh, great. Yeah.
And everybody within 10 feet has to make a con save or be blinded.
Oh no, yeah. All right. Yeah, Jorhan. Jorhan makes a con save. Plus 6 plus 3. Jorhan got a 9. The arrow flits into his eyes ah. And then who we really care about, 17 plus 5 got a 22 on that one.
This was a bad idea.
So it kind of
would have been a really good idea if he had failed.
And Jorhan did the same thing, but his arm wasn't fast enough. He's like hot grease. He's like
Wow, that looks good.
And wait, did Ilix?
Ilix failed. I got an 8.
Oh no! So then Ilix was like, my eyes.
Ilix doesn't care. Ilix has blind fighting.
Hey,
Ooh.
Yeah, if I didn't remember that, I wouldn't have done it.
Nice.
Jorhan does not. But it is his turn unless Grins is doing anything else.
Nope. I think that's all that. I think Grince has done enough trouble, or caused enough trouble for one turn.
So that's Grin's turn. It is Jorhan's turn. He goes, hot grease, and he like starts digging into his pants. He pulls out of his pocket. It's like this bottle of is like a clear liquid. And he pops it open and he kind of sprays him on his eyes. And you get like this nice little and you get this weird whiff of like distilled vinegar. And he casts lesser restoration. And he's like okay, we're good. Hurt. It's okay though. It's okay. I just wasn't quick enough. We're good. We're good, everybody. All right. As that happens, you see literally the literally Demisios is literally smacking him into the ground. He's on his butt, Famine, and he goes to get up and he just keeps smacking him down. So the little one is not on his back. And you're like, where's he go? And then next to Grins, he comes over, he goes, hey, how's it going? And he puts his hands together and this weird cold white frost goes and sprays out across as he casts spells. As he casts freezing hands out in a cone. And it kind of pours out in a 15-foot cone and hits across the wolf who failed and is kind of lit ablaze a little bit because just a little bit, he's moist. It's moist moss. But it's like, and he's like sitting on his butt and like scratching the back of his head, but he's trying to put the fire out. And it's kind of this like cooling mist that rapidly blows out in their direction. And Jorhan's like, oh, okay. Well, I could have used that a little earlier. That's real nice. And it stops the flame on the wolf. Oh.
Yep.
I'm so tired.
You, Aaron.
Okay.
Good night, bye.
Papa.
As he uses a sorcerer point to do a careful spell, it goes and does this nice gentle breeze across his allies, and you can literally see the icicles come up from the ground and kind of weave through and just start jagging up into Ansvar. As he is like, what's going on? He looks down and just, a couple of them just start spiking in through. He's like, ah, he starts breaking them. Let's see, he has to make a dexterity saving throw. No, He's not a dexterous Goliath. And it starts jagging in for 3d6 cold damage. We can do that. We'll do that on the dice. Bop, bop, bop. Or 13. And you can see it start to really dig in. It starts to pop off pieces of what seem to be armor, but are actually like obsidian chunks of plates, like earth plates, and they kind of drop off, and he's like, and he starts to fume and steam, especially in the spots where the cold hit. And there's one of the legendary actions where he goes, "Okay, I'll be back." He kind of turns around and he goes, and then it is Elix's turn. He's looking bad, but almost after Jorhan's turn, it's almost like Ansvar takes a deep breath, and a lot of the scratches and the deep welts that he gets starts to kind of boil and then kind of cool back into the weird plates that are covering his what looks to be armor.
Okay. All right, Ilix. Here's a question on the primary spike. The barbed tip feature says you can expend a charge, and the spear will have the effects of the sentinel feat. Does that mean it has to be on a opportunity attack, or is that any attack?
So yeah, when you use an attack, you can choose after you find out if you hit or not. So it can be up to that point, but before damage. So if you hit, you can enact the sentinel feat, and that basically like the part where it's on hit, they get to use, or if you hit them,
Their speed is reduced to 0.
yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be on an opportunity attack, though.
No, it's any
Okay.
That's why it's used as like on hit sentinel
Gotcha.
3 times
Okay.
a day. 3 times.
All right, so Ilix is gonna pull the primary spike, spin it a few times, grab it in a reverse grip with the end down, and run the last 20 feet and kind of like shoulder check him and try to drive the spike down through his leg and into the ground.
Ooh.
Doggone it.
And is it a 1? It's a 1, isn't it?
No, not.
That must be a 2 then.
But it's only a total of 8.
Oh yeah.
You got
no.
another D8 you could use there.
No, we'll only get him 16.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
still-
no. Max at 16, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's still under his weight limit. It's still under his weight
And
class.
try it one more time, same thing.
Yeah, so you
You
come
gotta
down
be
to check,
kidding
and he
me.
pulls his knee out of the way, and you go right in between his legs. And
Okay.
you like look up, and he's like looking down and oppressively at you. And then you swing again. What you get?
Before inspiration, it's a 10. We're going to see what this gets us, and hopefully an 18 will hit.
Oh, dang.
Plus 6. It's only 16.
Oh yeah, so you go and you pull it up, and he leans back real far, and it scrapes across his armor, and your arms are up, and you kind of swing around for. Do you get 2 or 3?
That was my 2 attacks. I would only get a 3rd attack if I was doing something else in my offhand, but I'm not.
Oh no. Okay, so. Oh, energetic. All right, so he comes swinging up, and he bends back. He's like, "Ah, you try me so much, little one. but not so good when you're not in the shadows this time. Roll as he uses his once a day legendary action. Roll a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Oh.
21.
Oh,
21.
there it is.
As he goes and he reaches out on your arms and he grabs a hold of your shoulders and you kind of wiggle a little bit and you see almost the maw kind of open up wide and his head kind of leans back real far and his chest falls forward. And you're like, and like you start seeing that even more and you're like, and you wiggle out and his arms, he's like really trying to squeeze on you. And as you wiggle your way out, he closes his arms out and you back up as the maw starts to just pour out this like molten.
So Ilix had the spear still held down, trying to get at his feet. As he's gripping his arms, he's just going to kind of rotate up and use the spear to push the arm up on one side and roll out.
Yeah, he basically
kind of redirect
closes
him
out.
away.
Yeah, and just like literally right next to you, just and just kind of sprays out.
I hate to say this, but Ilix can't see anything, right?
Blind fighting. I'm fully aware. I can, within 10 feet, it's as if I can see anything.
Nifty.
That's handy. But still,
Wait, where do you get blind fighting?
story-wise, can he see anything? He's just reacting and doing great. This is all, apparently this description is
He's
all
got-
for us. We're like, ooh!
You have
He's
blind
like
sight.
he's like sort of ultra instinct up to 10 feet.
Okay.
Not really, but yeah.
I
That's
took
just
the fighting
stipulation.
initiate feat at 4th level, so that gives me an additional fighting style.
Gotcha. Cool.
All right, so he went and attacked, and that's this 7. Oh, we'll do that here on the board. I'll do the attacks. This is the 8s.
So is it save for no damage? I don't take anything from that, or is this half damage?
It is
that I'm
save
taking
for
now?
half damage. So you pull him off a little bit, and he doesn't grapple you, and you aren't bitten by the maw as it kind of closes and gurgles out, but it does splash up and does 4 fire damage.
It
as
does 2
the-
fire damage as I cast Absorb Elements as a reaction.
Yeah. So
And my next attack will deal an additional
Don't
1d6
absorb
fire
the
damage.
corruption.
he's like, he goes, I see fear now that you're close. And then it is
Look
Zendira's
again.
turn.
It is spite.
Let's see here.
Zendira, I haven't been running with him for as long as you have. Is that fear or spite?
Probably a little bit of both.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I'm watching what's happening. As I see him like grab onto Ilix at first, I'm like, Dragonborn! And I quick like start working on a spell, kind of chanting myself under my breath, and then like reach out and cast Hold Person to try to paralyze what's his face in place. So I'm gonna cast it.
I know that look on Josh's face.
It's on a Wisdom saving throw or paralyzed
All
for
right.
the duration.
Or paralyzed. All right. So we're doing a wisdom. We got to be a
Hoping the
14.
Goliath's wisdom is not as high as his strength.
It is not, but he rolled a straight 15. So that's 15 plus 1. Yeah, his wisdom saving throws are low, but he
Yep, it was on a 14,
saved
so
that one.
okay.
So,
Nice try.
so he feels like his arms close up, and then his mouth starts almost like he gets a lockjaw, and he goes, ah, and he swings his head forward, and he kind of looks at you. He's like, try to hold me. I'll hold you. Who is within 15 feet of him right now? That's Ilix, the wolf. I think that's it, right? Oh, and Jorhan right now.
I thought Jorhan ran back.
Brave Sir Jorhan ran away. He did step back
Um,
some, but I don't know how far yet.
He did step back. So he was 5 feet. He swung, and then Ansvar moved off of him, in his little area to get closer to the arrow. So that would be 10 feet, and then he kind of stepped back a bit. So he's still 15 feet in the vicinity, unfortunately. So you got Ilix. I'm going to roll for the puppers. Ooh, puppers did good. Ilix, roll a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 19
Ooh.
plus 3, 22.
Yeah, you feel it. It goes through. Regardless, you're immune to the effects. But you feel it come through. And while you thought you had to shake it, you remember the light smells of oregano and garlic, and it brings you peace. And you're not angry. You're angry, but you can focus the anger. It's not. You saw the red come, and it didn't affect.
Okay.
It's the same
Well,
for Jorhan. But yes, let's finish the turn.
I'm gonna start moving up. I'm gonna move up probably about 20 feet at this point again.
Yeah. So 59, about 30 feet away.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
yep, still gonna hold my bonus action for the wolf or the bear or the lobster, whatever it might be.
Yeah. So, within that time frame, Katya's turn.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, right.
Katya moves up with Felix. Can she? I don't think it's actually come up. Is flanking a rule that we go by or use, or do you have any particular flanking rules?
I will allow flanking if it's character like derived. So like you talked among your characters talked about doing so. And not
Okay.
just get it because you're surrounding the enemy. You could also, if you have not used a reaction, can use a reaction to give someone like where you're distracting the individual, and giving the person a flanking ability to get advantage or to put disadvantage upon the other person's attack.
So Katya and I having the bond that we have.
Would probably get a good flanking or like a pack tactic if you want to do it in that direction.
Okay.
So that's it depends on how you would want that to go about. Do you want the pack tactic, or do you want the
As
kind
an
of like
advantage on the attack for her.
or for
Yeah,
you
if we
depending
could
on how
get
it
that.
goes?
Right. So I was thinking more along the lines of Ilix, again with the whistling sheepdog type communication is going to call her up behind him, and she runs around behind Ansvar and kind of climbs up partially onto his back and begins to start snapping at the back of his head.
Oh yeah. All right. So
But I would envision that he was kind of distracted as Ilix was jabbing at his feet too.
Yeah, so
So
jabbing at his feet. So give me an acrobatics check with advantage for Katya as she goes to basically claw up his back.
acrobatics. What is? Well, it's a natural 16. I'm pulling up.
She should have like a plus something pretty
Yeah.
high.
Well, if it's just her dex, it's a plus. Yeah, she doesn't have anything additional extra for acrobatics, so 17 total.
It would be off of her plus dex then. She doesn't have any
Yeah, so
extra.
plus one. Yeah, so
Okay.
plus one, so it's 17 total.
All right. So 17, that is good. All right. So yeah, she climbs up and then you want to give her an attack roll.
Yes. All right, what is she? She's plus what for attack? Actions bite plus 3, 15 plus 3, so that's 18 to hit.
Yeah, that just hits his armor class, so roll the
Okay.
damage.
Which is
Nice.
1d6 of damage type. Okay.
We did damage again.
5.
5, and then roll a
5
d4
acid
as
damage.
5 acid for the
D4?
bite. Yeah. So we'll do.
Oh no, I'm sorry. 5. I'm sorry. 5 piercing and then 3 additional acid damage because it's my proficiency bonus, and then the
Got you.
D4.
So, yeah.
And you said a
So
D4.
is that all acid damage, or is that piercing and then some acid?
5 is piercing. 3 is acid.
Okay,
Total
good.
of 8.
I wasn't sure if they did that already, so that's fine then. We'll just hit that
Oh,
one.
okay.
So it's 5 and then 3. All right. All right. So he is looking like he's taken some damage. You can see him nipping and tearing the wolf group that is left. That is all right, and that works. They go and wait, because they have pack tactic because they're wolves. Yeah, so 2 of them critical on him. Give me a roll of damage for 2.
Okay, what have they got? 2d6 plus 2.
Yep.
So 4d6 plus 4.
Yep.
Okay. And what do we get? Oh, that's 9 plus 4, 13. That was a bad roll.
All right. So then he takes 13 damage. As they start, he's like, he kicks kind of one. It doesn't do any damage, and 2 of them start to grab his arms and kind of hold him down a little bit, and he throws kind of one on top of the other one. And he's like, annoying so much. And then he starts to bubble a bit. He's like, you all will feel rage. And he goes and he points at Katya. He's like, you. She is now, she's on his back. So she will have to roll her save. Roll, Katya, a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, throws. Wisdom is plus 2 plus proficiency bonus. Okay. 12, 14, 17.
Yeah. So yeah, it tries to reach out, and you can see her grip a little harder as she bites, and then her eyes kind of roll back over, as everyone starts to get closer. The hounds, the wolves, that's a good one. That's a nice one. Oh yeah, they make it. Um, he starts to poke and prod at you guys. You guys getting hangry now? You guys thought you just ate, but now it's like, hungry, and you're angry about it. But then you're fine, because you had a nice meal just a little while ago. You're not really angry. It's all good. Full belly, feels good. Immune to charms. um, and he's starting to get visibly frustrated about this. You guys are really starting to surround him. Um, you can start seeing a lot of the nips and tears from the constant teeth, all the teeth, just all these teeth just tearing at him. Um, a few of them start to heal a little bit, close. Um, he's breathing heavy. Um, he goes and he swings at Ilix with his short sword. Does a 16 hit?
Just missed.
Oh,
17.
it doesn't. So he comes down at you real hard. And
Again,
then
deflected with buckler.
yeah, so yeah, you move it so that it hits the ground around the area, and he goes, "Ugh," and he swings at you again. Ooh, even lower. As he thrusts it out in your direction for a 12. And you kind of dodge at it. He looks over at Zendira, who is now 30 feet away. He goes, all right. Let me pick one of you. And he goes and he starts
Uh-oh.
he starts to move away from you, Ilix, in kind of like a dismissing kind of walking away kind of vibe.
Does he leave my threatened area?
Yeah.
All right. Attack of opportunity.
And while I don't have those in there, the attack of opportunities will cause the sentinel if you're using the prime spike.
I am.
That don't count towards the 3, but they have to be attacks of opportunity.
Okay.
So like the actual sentinel feat.
Okay. So that's 22 to hit.
Yeah, that hits now this time.
And it is a two-handed attack, so it deals a D8 plus 2. So that's 7 and an additional D6 of fire damage. I don't know if it does anything to me, but an additional 2 fire damage. And
yeah,
Katya is going to use her reaction for an additional D6. Oh, plus the D4 from favored foe. Plus 3. And Katya gets to use her reaction to deal an additional, I think it's 1D6 with her infused strike. Yes, 1D6 of acid damage, an additional 3 acid. And he's locked in place.
okay.
DM is catching up.
let's put that all together. So
okay.
I
Five,
know
5 straight up piercing damage. Oh,
yeah.
Is the prime spike a +1 weapon?
Yes.
So 6 piercing damage.
Okay.
2 fire damage, which I don't know if it does anything to him. Yeah.
No.
Let's see here. 3 acid damage.
That does, yeah.
And 3 additional piercing damage from favored foe.
Oh. So yeah, so we'll take a 12 on that.
And he's locked in place.
Back on 35. And then we hit him with 12. It goes to the 23. Oh yeah, so you hit pretty hard, and then he's like, it's like you like hit you swing a tendon up across his back as he tries to leave your area, and he goes, oh, Now I remember why I wanted to kill you first. Um, he kind of turns back and gets real opposing over you. And he just keeps almost swelling, um, especially the more damage he ends up getting. Um, definitely looks like his armor is getting a lot more spaces in between the plates.
I remember how pathetic and weak you looked on your back with High Traveler's spear through your throat.
Mm.
I got dark.
Roll an intimidation check. I will
Okay.
roll a charisma saving throw.
Well, I got a -1, but it was a straight 15, so 14.
Oh, okay. He has a +2 to charisma, and he got a 4 for his saving throw. So, where you could see the rage in his eyes as he looked out at you, it's almost like his eyes rolled out to the back of his head in just white fury as he gets more and more as he thinks and reminisces in like this almost PTSD rage. And he just kind of like really hones and focuses down on you. Almost like he's not really paying attention to the things around him. Hint, hint. So that was his, as he could not leave, and that goes to Grin's. It's Grin's turn.
Okay. My first question is
You're
like,
welcome, Z.
how pinned is this guy right now? Like, is it for the
He
turn that he's stuck?
Yeah, I believe it's for the turn. He just can't.
Yeah,
His speed was reduced.
speed is reduced to 0 until. Yeah, it's reduced to 0 until the end of my next turn.
Yep,
It's the land of your next turn.
to the top of the round.
Timings on these things are so inconvenient. Okay. All right.
Thunder wave,
I'm okay.
thunder wave.
Alex does care about that one.
Quick question. Like, about how far away from the other fight are we?
The other fight is about 70 feet to the left.
And while that fight's been happening, have I observed Famine making any like long distance kind of attacks?
You can see every now and then they will. The scenario has gotten in a he rushes up. When he strikes out at one of them, generally the Minotaur, because he rushes out and gets in between pretty much anybody real quick, and takes the brunt of the swing. Any attacks he lands tends to start really doing some like nasty damage, as it drips from the areas. But he's been hitting the shield and getting basically tossed back, with a charge. So they keep throwing him back and then pelting him with arrows, and then he rushes up. He tries to charm, it doesn't work. He rushes up and swings a whole bunch at them.
Is he within 60 feet of war?
Right now, yes.
All right.
Right at the edge.
We're going to cast a Crown of Madness on War. So that's a Wisdom saving throw.
We'll do this on the for 14, huh?
So he starts whispering again, and he's like, as he spins his fingers around in a circle, there's like this crown of iron that appears over his hands, and then all of a sudden he just like, and it's gone. And if this passes, it appears over his head.
This one is a 13. Is a
Nice.
13. And the crown, it's like it forms and then it's almost like it's heavy. It just drops oppressively on top of his head and it just almost like drops him a little bit. And then he kind of looks up a bit. And what happens? Crown of Madness. Oh boy.
So, while the target is charmed in this way, a twisted crown of jagged iron appears on its head and a madness glows in its eyes. The charmed target must use its action before moving on each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. The target can act normally on its turn if you choose no creature, or if you choose no creature, or if none are within its reach.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna just quietly ask, as the crown settles on his head, do you really want to play second fiddle to this famine guy? And
Like
with
literally goes from like oppressively looking down at Ilix, right? His head kind of drops a little bit, like he get like someone set like 50 pounds on his head, and then he kind of looks up and like the same kind of rage as it just even Ilix sees it kind of like raises over his head and looks out to the distance. He goes, and
Is
it
the crown
gurgles
visible to everybody else?
to the allies.
Okay. So Z and I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and just kind of looks past, and you can literally as it drips, almost like it's salivating in this angry desire to rip at this at his new hatred. Yeah, and that's the end of his turn. And Jorhan is kind of in that direction, and he kind of like goes, oh, kind of waddles over to the side. Let's see, and then he kind of let's go to Jorhan. We want, yeah. So Jorhan goes and he pulls out one of his chef knives. It's like this long, it points in one end and kind of gives this nice blade curve. And he kind of tosses it up a little bit and he goes this one, and it goes and it kind of starts to grow a bit in like this shining sizzling red magical um, spiritual weapon. Kind of has sitting about. He goes, okay, this is, and then he looks over and
Question. I'm sorry to
Mhm.
interrupt before I forget. Did I need to make a concentration throw when he made his legendary action against me for my favorite foe?
Yes, you did, but you succeeded.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Continue.
You succeeded, and you got the reduced amount as well. Yes.
Oh no, I meant a concentration check because
Oh.
favorite foe requires concentration.
I mean, you took 2 damage.
Yeah, it was 2, which means that would be a save of 10.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do that now? Okay,
You can try.
we're good.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
It was like, ow. Okay. So yeah, Jorhan, he creates the spiritual weapon, and then he goes, all right. So we're going, and he puts his hand up and he kind of turns around and he looks over, as he sees Famine on top of Ayaka, as the Torin, the Minotaur right now is Demisios is right now fighting off these weird black tentacles that have been pooling up around in Randall's face. He kind of moves over a little bit and they kind of follow him up and start reaching up at him. They keep pulling on his shield and he's over her. He smacked her down one in the face with his fists one good time, and then he like puts both of his hands down and he goes, and you can literally start seeing like this weird like this misty vapor that starts to pull like almost her from her entire face into his. He goes, "Oh, that's gross." He like points in the direction, and the knife just kind of splays out, just and comes jeering at him in a sweeping slashing motion, and he has a 16 on his AC, so that is a hit, and it literally it goes straight through him. It looks like it's going to cut him in half, but it's a spiritual weapon. It goes, and he almost jerks, like it rocks through his being, and deals 8 damage, and kind of topples him off of her, in a head over butt, just kind of about 10 feet past. And that's the bottom of the round. Starting now with Ilix.
Okay. Is it going to jeopardize your Crown of Madness if I do something directly to him right now?
I was looking at.
He can make a wisdom saving throw at the end of each of his turns. It has nothing in there about taking damage.
Okay, cool. So I can still wail on him.
Maybe.
I like wailing.
Yeah, I was looking at
Okay.
the rules. Yeah, you should.
So Alex is going to go ahead and... Oops.
Andy, if you're saying something, I can't hear you.
I was saying I was looking at the rules, your rules for it, and yeah, you can hit him. He'll be able to attack you if you're the closest thing, though.
No,
Fair point.
it's what
But if I move
mental
away...
pieces.
Right.
Oh, right. No, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
But if I move away from
you're-
him, he can take an opportunity
You're fine.
attack,
Sorry.
So...
No, Grin's gonna
Alright.
direct him. Yeah.
So Ilix is going to pull the spear out of his leg, spin it around, and go for a jab up into the part that's pouring out all the stalactites or stalagmites, whatever.
Nat 20.
Boom. That's the first
Oh.
attack.
Roll of the damages.
All right. There's a 2-hand attack, so that's 2d8. Where's my other one? Oh, there you go. 10 straight on the dice. Plus, it's a +1, it's a +2. So +3, 13. Well, okay, 10 doubled, so 20, 23. And I already expended fire damage, which wouldn't have done anything. Anyways, Katya can't use her infused strike yet because she used her reaction when I did the...
This is the top of the round, so yes. She would have a
But
first
haven't-
reaction.
Okay, I won't argue with that then.
You're at the top
When-
of the round, so the round starts with you. So if
Okay,
you use a
I-
reaction before, then
Okay, all right. So then d6. The full 6, does that get doubled because it's part of this attack?
it's a dice roll.
Yeah, okay. So 12 piercing damage. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
It's acid damage. Yeah, so 12 acid damage.
Oh boy.
So 23, 35 damage from that attack. and then I've still got another attack. So nat 15, which is gonna be plus 6.
21.
So 21.
Yeah.
Roll another d8.
It tells me we're getting pretty
Yeah.
close here.
One on the d8 plus 2, so 3 additional piercing damage there. Oh, and favored foe plus 2. So yeah,
So
1, 2, 3, 35. So that's 38, 40 damage total between the two attacks. 12 of which is acid.
Well,
So you did a lot of damage. How do you vanquish your foe? How
So
do
like
you
I said,
vanquish
spin
Angvar,
around,
General of War?
once up into his neck, kind of on a pike type thing, and then pull it out one more time, go high, and kind of drive him backwards and into the ground behind him. And as I stand over him, I say, "Da, this is familiar."
Ooh, no. That's different, though. All right. All right. The damages were piercing, acid.
Yes, those were the only two
Yes.
times.
Okay. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
favored foe is just an additional D4 of the triggering type of damage.
Yeah, so piercing. Yeah. All right. So yeah, you so put down right after your turn as a legendary action. The more you struck him, the more damage you did. You could see him get kind of now unevenly misshapen, um, bloating in some areas, and pieces of the armor he was in starts to crack and just fall off as it spreads apart, leaving large chunks of just glowing red and orange underneath. As you push him down into the ground, spear deep into the open cavity, every now and then just kind of reaching around, the teeth individually reaching out and grabbing the tip of the spear, scraping it gently with the last of that strength. You can see he takes a very deep as it gurgles a little bit and starts to pool out and around him. You can feel the heat come off, and him start to melt just around. A deep raging anger that you can see from the tip of his eyes to every fiber of his face, and all you can almost look deep into his brain and see every ounce of thought, hatred, as he starts to slowly steam and melt away. into this hot puddle that evaporates away in this, just with this cacophony of just raging frustration. This raging, frustrated growl, just in this. As it kind of pools away and evaporates, slowly quiets.
This is how I choose to remember you.
You can see Famine gets slammed in the face real hard with the shield and kind of tumbles backwards a bit. Ayaka comes and kind of gets towards the center, off to the side, and pulls out this kind of thin arrow.
Good night.
Good night.
Kind of pulls out this thin arrow from her pack, and knocks her bow and shoots it, but not in his direction. Shoots it out towards the rod that she dug into the ground earlier in the beginning. In a reaction, Famine kind of scurries back to avoid the arrow. As it whizzes past him, he kind of stops and then looks behind him as it hits the rod, and you hear this soft bing, and the ringing vibrates out, and the tip of the rod does its soft vibrating, goes poof, and separates into this odd fork, and it rings. And as it intensifies, you can almost see some of the debris and rubble that's near it start to shake and pull towards the opening of this rod, and then they whiz towards it, and as it passes, the rod vanishes, and more starts to fly, and it starts to look as if wind is pulling and blowing and pushing Famine, and he's trying to hold himself in a spot. He's like, I won't go out this way. Starts to suck and suck even more, and she pulls another one out, and she goes to notch it, and she misses it as the air starts to pull in more from outward, further and further away from it. But the arrow rolls and then hits the edge of one of the forks, and hits a nice, and it starts to rumble everywhere. He goes, no. He grips the ground, and he starts to drag him towards the tuning rod, and then it lifts him off the ground, his claws scratching the stonework, as he tumbles back past the rod and vanishes. And the moment he does, you get this audible whoa, and then it stops. It's quiet. And it's just you guys.
I get it. No, I really do get it. It really is fun to mess with those guys' minds. I know why this is happening now. I understand.
May they take their blights with them. I turn to Ilix. I'm like, we've won today, but this isn't over yet. We still need to head north.
Alex is kind of sunk to his knees and is leaning on the spear.
I pull like a random shard out of my back and like stick it out, throw it to the ground.
Hits the ground.
It's
It's kind of
and I kind of
fizzles away.
Ilya. Ilya was with them. How was he with them?
You hear, I am them. And then you look over towards the far back of the circle, and you see a small child, blue dragonborn, with a large bow, and a woman, old, grins. If you would like to explain how Madame looks, you were one of the last few that got to look her in the face before she went away.
Ooh. Yeah, how she looks. She looks like fairly tall. When she was younger, she was probably quite attractive. Um she wears her age seemingly begrudgingly, as if she's considers time and her own aging just an enemy, something that she is not surrendering to. Um, yeah, you're free to work with that
Yeah,
gun too.
yeah, so just tall, hair now, put up in a very high but round bun that sits on her head. She now sits with monocles that have a few other lenses on them, um, and wears the same kind of coat that she was when she was. You found her experimenting on people that may or may not have been alive, but they were not alive then. Um, Seems to have a new fixation, seems to have found something that works a lot more, um, as she is now kind of clutching the mushroom that was sitting there. And um, in the Dragonborn's hands, that sits about a good foot above him, in height, is a large golden rod pointed at the bottom, flattened on the top, sitting with markings that run along some of its sides and runes that run along others. Um, yeah,
Rin's is visibly shaken and looks like he's about to lose it.
yeah, she does not look confident, very anxious, um, constantly fiddling with the glasses on her head. Um, you go, the little one goes, I see they weren't enough for you all. Helix, Shandira. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No matter. One moment. while I pull up some stuff for this. Mhm.
We serve Sucklaff to defend the purity of this forest and the land you see. You'll have to do a lot better than that.
Grins leans over. He says, "She doesn't care about any of that."
I look back, I'm like, I care.
But we have what we came for. It's a shame. And the lady puts a hand on the shoulder and goes, "No, we figured out what we came here for. Great research. It'll work well next time. I promise. We'll have our apocalypse. Yes."
Stay here. Face me now.
Phew.
You
Face
killed
him.
them, you monster.
You're
Trist.
muted, Sam.
Sorry. Leo, why'd you never come home?
What was that?
I'm home. Don't you know? All of the life that's here. And you all only get to experience what you see moving around. There's so much here that you don't see. It's just all over. So much old life. It's beautiful. I'm glad we came. I'm glad I stayed.
The old life has gone. The new life has come. You will not destroy the new life for the old. This is the cycle of the forest, and it will stand.
Life is life, whether the life still moves or the life does not. I see it all now. It's wonderful. Would you all like to see it too? I'd love to share it with you guys one time. I have a plan. I have to keep and make sure I'm the one that can only see that kind of life. And she wants to stop that. She wants to stop me. She wants to stop me changing life. She wants to change life herself. So I've got to keep these from her. But I think you guys are trying to do the same.
Who's holding it?
He is.
Is it a golden hex rod?
Yeah.
How far away is he?
About 100 feet from you guys.
You know why we're here. You know what we'll do.
Atlatl.
Drop it.
Atlatl with the spear.
He's like, how far away? I'm chucking a spear.
With the Atlatl, but I'm not aiming for either one of them. I am just trying to knock the rod out of his hand. Is this? What do I need to roll, or how do I?
Well, technically, I threw the spear at the thing you were holding.
roll for attack.
Straight roll.
Yep. Well, we'll roll with the modifiers for the spear and the atlatl.
Okay. Well, that's
Weird.
8 total.
I'm guessing that missed.
So yeah, the 8. So you swing, you chuck it true. It's diving straight for like the tip to make it just fly fumbling top down out of his hands. Um, and as it starts to fly outward, um, it hits something about 10 feet in front. And it gets just like a very soft surface, just as this kind of weird, mushy, um, like shroom gremlin, kind of starts to hobble its way up out of the ground. You start to see a few of them start to grow up in an area. Just the same kind of like menagerie of shrooms start to spore out, wave out from her. She goes, uh. We're not here for you. We have what we came for. No worries. I'm taking this back. We're also taking this. You guys understand, yeah?
I say, I understand, and like reach
Okay.
out with
That's
my
what I
hands,
thought.
and if I can, I am
Okay.
going to cast
Yeah,
Hold
that's
Person.
that's fine. Maybe we can't stop you right now, but we will
Andy,
find
you're
You're
you.
muted.
muted.
And I will kill you. Do you hear me? I will kill you for what you did to Papa and Jill. Oh my. And Mal? And his bear? Mal's fantastic dancing bear. You killed Mal's bear. We
I did
will
eat his
find
bear.
you.
I say, no, we will end this now, and if I can, I am going to cast Hold Person.
Yeah, on which one? Both of them?
The one holding the rod. Well, actually,
yeah.
no, I can try to hold both. Yeah, I will try
If
to
they're within a
hold.
20-foot square.
If they are within 30 feet of each other, and I'm within 60 feet of them.
I mean, if you want to walk, yeah, you walk up a bit
Yeah.
and do it. All
Yep.
right, and then it's a 14 save.
It is a 14 save, and I'm out of level 3
14
spell slots.
All right. Wisdom.
It is a wisdom save, yes. Ah.
All right, so Tris got to the 20.
Aw, come on.
Doggone it!
A 19 with a +4 on that one.
That would have been so epic. Oh well.
She goes, "Ah, you must really want to talk. All right. All right. We'll wait then.
Yield the rods.
I'll let you in on a secret. To the northwest, out into the Frostlands, I've made a spot for me that's nice and warm. An oasis in the storm. That's where I incubate him. I incubate the pestilence. And I will release him once he's finished. Come find me. I'd love to feed him some more. Just knock him right over the edge. Get him out so much sooner. Just like the others. Come, we must go. I need to work more.
Chagrined.
he
I'm gonna
goes-
run.
Good.
I'm gonna run in that direction, and just out of spite, I'm casting a 3rd level Dissonant Whispers at her.
Third level.
All right,
What?
wisdom 14.
Dissonant Whispers. Wait. Yep.
Wisdom 14.
Why did my audio have to cut up
Wisdom
right now?
14.
I hear you now, Sam. We hear you.
Hello?
We hear you.
Yes.
He can hear you.
Okay. Okay, caught up.
All right, yeah. So you rush up, you go to cast, and she sees you. She sees you start to mutter, and she goes, "No," and casts, um, uh, um, counterspell,
Ooh.
and so the DC 14. We'll see what. No, doesn't counter. So now she'll have to roll her wisdom save.
I missed because my audio cut out. What did you cast, Matt?
Distant
whispers.
whispers.
Out of spite.
She
Taking
tried.
any opportunity.
She tried to counterspell low and failed, so she's rolling her wisdom save now. It's wisdom +3.
Friends is just his eyes are a complete black mass. Oh,
Sitting at 20. Yeah, so she basically goes stop, and it goes, and she waves up, and it kind of brings up this kind of like illusory window, and it goes, "Doof," and it breaks through it. She goes ah, and it sprays across her face, and she goes, and as she waves her hand, it kind of spores about in like this weird greenish yellow kind of fog. As she waves it in front, and she goes, "Okay, you're
and I'm
angry."
definitely burning up my extra bardic inspiration just to do a little extra damage. I know none of this probably really matters, but yes, it's happening.
Did she really
Yeah,
just
so roll
roll
the
2 nat 20 saves?
Yeah, don't you wish
Yeah.
you were actually rolling that, Matt?
um and yeah. So so roll the damage. And
All
then
right, so the first part you'll cut in half, and then we'll add the extra. So
yeah.
that was not great. It was a 12.
Hmm.
Then we'll go ahead and add the psychic blades, an extra 3d6. Then the sides.
All
Felix,
right.
are you standing
So
near me?
we did a 3-6, you got 12. So
Well,
So
yeah,
like,
you'd put your hand on my
Oh,
back,
I
and I
had
didn't
walked.
really
So
move
I,
because
I had I had walked toward them though to cast the spell.
Oh, oh, okay.
ooh,
so 12 cut in half, and then the 8 extra psychic.
yeah. So yeah, you do a lot of psychic damage. You could see her like literally like touching her temple like she's got a migraine, and she goes, "Okay, I see. You're mad. That's fine. I understand. Um, I'm a very busy individual, and you seem like you need to talk to somebody. Um, Unfortunately, the people that I bring about, they're not very chatty type. They're more of the working nonstop without any kind of break or issue, and um, zipped their mouth shut, if you know what I mean. Um, but hey, maybe later we'll talk. I'll see you. Um, Great seeing you again. You toot. As she kind of waves her hand, it kind of like fogs out in a deep, weird fog, and kind of takes her away and kind of flashes through. Um,
Gather your strength. We are gathering our faith, and we will see you again.
it's like, oh, I mean, besides you guys getting in the way of our fun, we're really kind of helping you out here. Kind of points at it with one hand. Um, don't you think so, Ilix? Yeah, yeah. So I thought. Still with a few words, huh? Your mom taught you to be more polite. To talk more. I'll make
What
sure.
happened to you?
Ah. Now you're interested in talking. I am me. But I'm not me. I feel better. Like she gave me a purpose, a drive, a passion. I've opened my eyes to the beautiful nature of things. Uh, the cycle.
What of your history? What of your family? The generations that you are so proud of?
I see them all. That's the wonderful thing. I see the ones that aren't here anymore so much more clearly than I can see the ones that still breathe. So I want to share that with everyone. I want everyone to be together. So much more beautiful there.
I've got an ice knife in my hand and I'm flipping it up and down.
Like, it'll be. I'll show you. I'll show you guys one day. You all.
I look over at
Hail should
Ilix and I
join.
say, if he's with her, he's no good.
How close is Grins to Ilix?
I ran like 20 or 30 feet ahead to cast Dissonant Whispers on her.
Yeah, about 20 feet.
I cuss him out in Goblin.
Damn.
And says, okay, well, at least next time you're going to insult me, use some creativity behind it.
No.
Look, clearly this guy means something to you. That's great. I respect that. She needs to be stopped. She will continue to hurt people until there are no more people to hurt if we don't.
Anyway,
Anybody who sides with her is going to be a problem.
it's like, I mean, you all have a history. Family that from the time you were born, you never got to meet or experience. Wouldn't that be to see them again? To see them for the first time? To meet your whole history? Isn't that beautiful? I thought it
No.
was.
It is unnatural.
Oh,
There's no beauty in the defiance of nature.
oh, them being there is beautiful. They haven't left.
Punk. Look, punk. Your scummy friend destroyed my family and my history.
Just around, just
no
boiling blackness around him. Go ahead. This is happening
I
while
have no interest in seeing anything that you or her have to offer. Except for maybe your demise.
it'll all come together. See? We need this. And it kills two birds with one stone. It allows us the energy from this device while keeping it from her clutches. It'll destroy life before it's ready. I want it to be ready. I want it to be ready when I come.
Whose clutches are you keeping it from?
The Witch of Undoing. So destructive. So messy. Ripped
Oh, right,
and
not
tore
like your
at
company.
us. Ripped and tore at us. Oh, it's beautiful. Watch the synergy, how it worked together so well. Sure, the famine could use some tweaking. But we got all the information we need to really ramp up the release, my purpose. To just be.
You defile the air you breathe with your very being.
Oh.
Pestilence and plague must be purged, and I take my knife, and I just chuck
He
it.
kind of leans back, he, almost like he's falling off the edge of a cliff.
As
roll.
I see him preparing to throw it,
Oh, I've been flipping
Ilix
it up and
just
down
takes
for a long
the.
time.
I know, but Ilix is a savant with thrown weapons, and he can see you winding up and getting ready.
Well, this is magical. Well,
And he-
kind of.
Buckler takes the buckler off and just Captain America style at the back of your head, just to stop you from getting Ilya.
Well, I throw it anyways. So
That's
I think we got a
fine.
sequence of events here.
But I'm
Sequence of
asking the
dice
GM
rolls.
if I can at least impose disadvantage on it by hitting him right before he throws.
If you hit above his armor class,
Well, that's
sure.
pretty easy.
Roll improvise. It's just a D12 or D20.
While this is
Natural
happening,
16.
Okay, so a 16. So it does. So that's with
My ice
disadvantage
knife.
with the ice knife. Toss the ice knife.
Okay, so how do I do this? +6. Yeah, okay. I think this is right. Okay, and then roll once more, so probably not going to be worse than that. So it's a 13 still. It would have been like a 25, though, so that's kind of sad. Well, no, actually, I rolled a 7 first, so never mind.
While all of this is happening, Grins runs forward and he's like, "Don't let him get away!" And I'm gonna cast Featherfall as he tries to fall backwards off.
Almost like this weird, like reverse vampire getting out of its coffin, where it looks like at first he was like he's diving backwards into the ground. Now looks like he's slowly lowering himself into a coffin where he goes, and it's like, the ice knife. You said with a 13?
Yeah, I got a 13.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
it's 13, yeah.
Yeah, so it goes flying past him as he starts leaning down. The bubbling starts to bubble past his shoulders and then whip back over him and drag him down into the ground. The last thing that starts to pop and bubble is the tip of the rod as it starts to sink into the roiling black goo. It slowly starts to evaporate as it dissipates.
Okay. So I get hit in the back of my head with a freaking buckler.
You were going to get disadvantage anyway as he was leaning back, which makes him kind of like a prone person.
Would that
and
make
that's
the
a
buckler
ranged.
not hit me in the back of the head?
Technically, the attack went through, so it did kind of hit you in the back of the head. Even as an improvised weapon, he had a natural 16.
So, I feel that I know instantly what it is. I spin around, and by the time I've finished spinning around, I am a raging brown bear. I go charging straight at Ilix. Just
Brown bear.
I run straight up into his face, hit the brakes, and just let out a deep roar, like right in his face, and then just.
I stare it down. You don't know what he was.
You're not staring me
You
down.
don't
Are you
know what
freaking
he
kidding me?
I'm
No,
starting to
pardon
slowly
me. Like,
collect
if
my
I get
wits.
to make an let's see here. What have I got for intimidation? Intelligence. How does this work? I don't know this. Anyways, I don't know.
So Okay, no, I totally want to see that. Who intimidates who? Who stares who down?
I'm not even sure what my.
We both have a negative charisma.
Yeah, we both have a negative charisma, but I'm in my wild shape right now. Well, that actually makes my charisma even worse, doesn't it? That's pretty funny. Intimidation it would still be -1. See, if my intimidation is low, I'd just jump on you. I was on the verge of attacking you. Actually, I was gonna take Dire Wolf because I can knock you prone with my attack. No, I'm not rolling for it. Well, I guess I can. So I have charisma 8. That's the same as my North, so I'll just roll it, see what I get. It's a 9,
Alright.
pretty bad. So
Oh, no.
10. Sorry, yeah, 10.
yeah,
Natural 11 -1, 10.
yeah, we both rolled pretty bad.
No.
But Elix won.
Yeah,
Both are
but it's
just
not, it's
stubbornly
not much of a
staring
win.
awkwardly at each other. Just
Pretty much.
The dire wolf blinks first.
I'm a brown bear. No, I
Oh, you
already
said
did what I
that.
did,
You
and that
said
was
you-
come up and roar in your face.
All right. While all of this is happening, Grins has regained a little bit of his composure, and he's kind of walked over and he just like walks in between the two of them as they're staring at each other. He's like looking up at both of them, and he's like, "Okay, okay. So we're all pretty upset, and none of us are thinking straight right now. We've been through a very emotional and physically traumatic experience very recently. And maybe we should all just take a breather and not eat each other," he says, eyeing Zendira, even if they deserve it. He mumbles under his breath.
Yeah. I transform back down, and I'm like, I wasn't going to eat him.
I say,
We
No,
need
you
to
weren't.
work together, not smack each other in the back of each other's heads with our bucklers. He is Ilya. I don't know who that is now. That's not Ilya, though. And they are working to corrupt this entire land. Pick a side.
kind of shuffle over beside Zendira, and I'm like, he's not wrong.
You don't know that he cannot be pulled back from edge.
I know it doesn't
And I turn
matter.
around and I walk away. They got my back. I walked away. I'm picking my stuff up, and I'm heading back towards Verminton.
you gotta turn around, and you and Zendira get like a soft little ladle smack to the back of the head, and it's pink pink, and he goes, hey, we're all on the same side. Have a cookie. Huh? Take the cookie.
I take it. I'm like,
Grins takes cookie. Yeah, all right. He
Grins
pulls
takes-
more out.
I'm like,
Take a
I
cookie.
whisper, I'm like, Joran, you're my favorite.
Grins goes, dang it.
And as I
kinda-
go to walk
kinda-
away, I'm like, he could use a cookie too, nodding towards Ilix.
kind of eyes you like just like take a cookie.
Ilix just kind of snorts, and kind of a crystalline fog comes out of his snout, and he just walks back to grab his stuff.
He kind of walks over and he kind of gets around in front. He puts the cookie back out in front of you. He goes, now I want you to stop being mean to me and start being nice.
Joran, this has nothing to do with.
It has everything to do with him.
It's a
By the way,
it's
where's
a
Eckern?
sweet smelling cookie.
Is Eckern like prodding him to take the cookie from behind Jorhan's back?
Eckern has made like a replica of what he thinks the cookie looks like from the brief little like spots he gets from it, and he's just because it's bigger, you know.
Yeah.
I thank you, my friend. I take the cookie. I pocket it because Ilix has lost his appetite.
Eat the cookie. All right, so the people who have eaten the cookie get 6 health.
Does that count for temporary hit points?
Oh, I guess not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I
you
lose
know.
my temporary hit points now?
No, it's still 24 hours because it is a real hero's feast.
So, like, the only person who didn't eat the cookie is the only person who got really actually hurt in the last fight.
Oh my goodness, I got really actually hurt by losing 4 temporary hit points.
I mean, he just gave cookies out to the people he saw get hurt. Like, not sure how hurt you guys got. He's like,
I'm gonna eat the cookie, no matter.
All right.
yeah.
I'm eating the cookie. I am eating the cookie, and I am
All right.
going to walk up behind Ilix and attempt to pickpocket the other cookie.
I have a really high perception. Like my passive is 19. If he's gonna make me roll for it,
No, we'll see. We'll see. You'd have to roll over 19, and then we'd have Ilix see if he could roll higher than 19.
So we got a 21.
okay.
Oh boy.
Natural 19 plus 9, 28.
Aw.
You feel little hands in your pockets.
Wait,
you were mad.
To take the cookie. To take the cookie. And
I smack his hand away. No, I smack his hand away. Reach into my pocket, take it out, and toss it to him.
I sit down on my little, just like sit down cross-legged with a cookie, and I nod. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be okay.
Jorhan finishes up doing cure wounds on Aika and goes, all right, I'm gonna go get my ward. He starts just by himself, just walking down there. Then you hear him kind of stop.
Jorhan.
Gonna get my reward. Slowly, like you hear him just like, nope, I'm done with that. No more fighting, no more craziness. I'm done.
Ilix lets it play.
Well, seems clear to me that we need to start thinking about making sure we can deliver the goods that we promised to Taichu. And
It's pretty late
I
at night
think
at
we're
this
all
point,
in
right?
agreement.
Say what?
It's pretty late, isn't it? Because we got up the mountain like evening. So,
Yeah.
like,
It's starting to get dark. You can look down. You can look down and out into the valley, and you starting to see like torches being lit out. You see a lot of them moving towards the towns. As it seems like a lot of the soldiers are now seem to not want to spend their time right outside in tents when they can just go home and then I guess get up in the morning and go and fight if they have to. not so keen and wanting to stay out there and fight at the last moment if need be.
We need to rest. We need to set up tents. I'll take first watch. And this time we'll have a watch.
Eh. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
I am absolutely all for stopping this corruption, for stopping this Lady of Undoing. But I cannot summarily dismiss any possibility of rescuing Ilya. If I am to be at odds with him, I must know first that there is no hope.
Well,
Grins looks
I
you
don't
in
know.
the eye. Grins looks Ilix in the eye and he says, "This kid, he's family, isn't he?"
As good as.
I get that. All right. But I need to know that when it becomes clear that nothing can be done, you have my back on this. Until that point, I'll have yours.
In Goblin, you have my oath.
I say, well, that would have meant a lot more if it wasn't in Goblin, but I accept.
Yeah, it didn't. It's not as pretty sounding. Like that sounded very like heroic. It not quite in Goblin. Same sentiment, just not as pretty.
In Goblin, the colloquial term is, "What, don't you trust me?"
Damn. Goblin racism.
Yeah, it doesn't translate well.
It's like the Ferengi.
Yeah.
Friendship is good for business.
All right.
So,
How
guys,
much longer are you guys
see?
planning on going?
Yeah.
Because this might be a good time.
Yep. So then next
Yeah.
time we play, as if this is a good stopping point, next time we start up, it's possibly letting the town know that negotiations went well.
I think I need to spend the rest of the evening writing a sonnet to describe what happened here successfully. And I still think that the greatest tragedy is that we don't exactly have a great name for the group. So for now, we're going to have to go.
It's tragedy.
It is tragic. So we're just going to, I don't know. Maybe we can go with War's Bane.
With what?
Bane of War. We are the Bane of War.
We used
Again, my phone
use
is
this
picking a
voice.
terrible time to start cutting out.
Yeah, I cut out for a second, but I got it. The Bane of War. It used to just be. It used to just be Zendira and the Dragonborn.
I look at him and I say, "That's a horrible band name."
All right. Yep. And then
Maybe
getting
we're
stuff for
Ziggy.
No, we're not. So we get a long rest with this.
Yep. So it's a long rest.
That's good because I need my spell slots back.
Yeah.
Yep.
The long
and
rest
then-
is also going to be long enough to drop aid. So those 5 hit points are gone.
Yep.
For
those are
now,
all
yeah.
gone.
Yeah, Jorhan decided not to stick around, so there's no yummy meal tonight. He's gone to go and probably get his reward and go sleep in an inn with a bed.
Yeah, he's probably like, these people have issues. I'm not gonna hang around them anymore.
It's like that was an existential crisis, and I'm done with that. I'm going to go back to cooking things where it's not trying to kill me in the worst way possible. All right.
In all fairness, Ilix just had to deal with 2 ghosts from his past in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, so did Grins.
Freaking buckler.
And that wasn't even pestilence. It's almost like she's growing the neck that made.
Oh, we just got to level up. Never mind. I was gonna ask if we get a level up, but I guess we just
Yup.
did.
10 hit points are gone too, right?
Yeah, it would be by the time in the morning, yeah. No, I mean you guys just got it, so like noonish, the evening, about the afternoon or so.
Keep the 12 temp hit points then.
Yeah, so
That I think it's gonna make a difference between now and when they go away.
yeah, you guys aren't really doing much.
My 8.
Unless you guys go and like decide to pick a fight with like the guards or something. Which can happen. Ask Ilix.
We'll keep Ilix in line.
All right, guys.
All right, remember, no spearing the guards without really good reason, and we all have to agree it's good reason before we start spearing them.
Ilix has never attacked a guard.
You just assaulted their officers. That's all.
I didn't assault anybody.
Well, he sure thought he was getting
verbal
assaulted.
assault is not the same thing.
It is not.
I'll add to Grins.
It is an assault that is not of the physical variety. Right?
Oh, Grins absolutely agrees. If you're using words to do the damage, it's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, see, there you go. The goblin agrees.
Well, tell that to the garrison commander.
That is cool.
I didn't touch him.
You tried.
No.
You need more.
I specifically
need more
dropped
power
fog
forward.
cloud on the whole thing and jumped out of there specifically to avoid
Fairly
anybody getting hurt.
certain that you tried and you were intercepted by his guards.
Anyway,
No.
I've got work in the morning.
I jumped off of my horse.
Yeah.
I jumped off of my horse
Thank
and
you
came
very
up to
much.
him very
No problem.
urgently,
That's a fun.
insisted that I needed to talk to someone, called him an idiot for refusing, shoved his, when he went for his sword, I shoved his hand back into his sheath. I dropped
that's
cloud
physical. That's no.
and jumped out.
That's generally.
That's not an assault. That's keeping him from doing anything.
No, you laid hands on
That
him.
a cop would consider that an assault. Yep. He would also think you were reaching for his gun. He would also think you were.
All right, guys. I think it's probably a good time.
All right. Yep.